Further debate? The member from Essex.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. It's a pleasure to rise this evening to speak in favour of my colleague's motion. The member from Sarnia-Lambton, who is a seasoned veteran of this chamber and has far more experience than I do. He's a person from whom I often seek good advice and receive good advice. And even though we are not geographically neighbours of each other, I feel like he is my neighbour because he has that kind of personality, and I actually feel a certain affinity with him, even though we have a different gap in experience. I'd like to thank the member from Etobicoke Lakeshore and the member from Peterborough-Kawartha for their comments. Tonight, of course, we are discussing the motion that, in the opinion of this House, the Government of Ontario should continue supporting police services in locating vulnerable missing persons and assess innovative solutions that can bring more loved ones home. That is the motion we are discussing. And in turning my own mind to the issues at stake during this motion, I asked myself, what do we want and what do we don't want? Which is a funny way of wording things. So let me start with what we don't want. What we don't want is duplication. What we don't want are false alarms. And what we don't want is bombardment, a word that I use to describe a phenomenon of the modern age where we have so much technology that we are bombarded with information. Bombarded, for example, with spam emails, bombarded with false alarms, bombarded with messages that we are now becoming accustomed to becoming immune to, because there's so much coming out that we don't want to act as accordingly as we should because of the constant bombardment of information in a modern age. That's what we don't want. What we do want is a system that works. What we want is a system that helps families. And what we want is a system that moves fast. A system like the Amber Alert system. And the reason why the Amber Alert system works is because we know that when we get that alert, everybody understands it, and they aren't constantly bombarded with them. Because if you're constantly bombarded with them, people learn not to take them seriously. But the reason why we do take them seriously is because we know that they are valid alerts from a system that people have confidence in, and we can trust that system. And that's why it works. And that's the kind of system that we'd be looking for with this motion. And that's the kind of system that this motion is targeting. A system that will work, that will be confident, that people can be confident in, and that they can trust. And so I congratulate the member from Sarnia-Lambton for bringing forward this motion, because it is very practical. It is very practical. We're going to look for something that works and something that we can all have confidence in. And so once again, I congratulate the member, and thank you very much, Madam Speaker.
Further debate? The member from further debate? Further debate? Further debate? The member from Sarnia-Lambton.
Yeah, thank you. Well, thank you, Madam Speaker, and I want to thank the House for their consideration today, and I especially want to thank the member for Hamilton Mountain for her passion and her advocacy for vulnerable persons. I think all of our hearts are in the right place, and I want to thank her especially for her explanation again of her bill. And like I say, we're all here we're all in the same boat. We just got to get rowing in the same direction. I also want to thank my good friend from Etobicoke Lakeshore for her kind remarks. Certainly much appreciated. I don't know whether they're how accurate they are, but certainly much appreciated. I appreciate the member from Peterborough-Kawartha and his story about an individual. I think there's many stories like the member from Peterborough-Kawartha expressed, and of course the member from Essex with his thoughts, his legal mind, and his thoughts on that as well. So, ladies and members, great to be here today. I think whatever we can do in any way to make people safe in this province, whether it's vulnerable persons like children, seniors, dementia, etc. I think we should all strive to do that, and I thank everyone for their time and their consideration today. Thank you.